you ready for the next act of the evening? Yeah. In that case, without further ado, please give up for Mr. Matt. Welcome!
Thank you. Round of applause for your host, your compere, Mr. Jeff White, and give it up for Jeff. Thank you very much indeed for that round of applause there. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name's Matt. I'm from London. My hobbies include getting stoned and buying shirts. I won't tell you the whole story. All I'll say is no, take LSD and then visit the giraffes enclosure of your local zoo. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I want everyone to relax. I'm not going to take the piss out of anyone here unless I really have to, for two reasons. First, it's not my style. Secondly, I personally don't like it when people come up and yap into my face when they should be minding their own fucking business. That's why every now and again I like to walk into a shop, go straight up to a sales assistant and say, "Can I help you?" And when they go no, just go, "Well, now you know what it fucking feels like. If you need me, I'll be in Safeways." So I want us to bond. Jeff's a very excellent compere. He always gets people to bond. I want us to bond. I want everyone to relax and tell you a few things about myself so we can bond. That's what I've learned. It's important to share. When you're with a group of people, it's important that we bare our souls. Sorry. Well, obviously, when I say bare our souls, I don't mean porn movie money shot. No, So I'll tell you a few things about myself. That's how you learn to bond. This is what I've learned. Girls do it. They share all the time. They bond because girls are very different from men. Girls can multitask. They can whinge and fucking moan. I'm from London. I'm 45. So far I've achieved fuck all of any real significance with my life. But, you know, looking around the room, I feel like I'm amongst friends. So I'll tell you a few things about myself. That's how we learn to share. You have to be honest and you have to share, and that's how you learn things about yourself. 45, I've been doing stand-up now for about 10 years. Boy, are my legs tired. Okay, it's kind of a joke. That's all right, just start off gently. That's what I say. What else I'll tell you about myself? I'm very good at parking. Drove into a multi-storey car park last week, got to level 6 without even practicing. I analyse things too much. This is what you will learn about me over the next 6 or 7 hours. I analyse things too much, and my friends go, "Matt, you analyse things too fucking much." And I go, "Really? What makes you say that? We're off on a whole nother journey, man." And, I'm also a pessimist, that's the truth. Bad news, good news, good news, bad news. Bad news is I'm a pessimist. Good news is I can't see it lasting. So worried about my pessimism that I went to the doctors, had a blood test. They've actually got a blood test for everything now. They've got a blood test for pessimism. Turns out I've got nothing to worry about. I've actually got optimistic blood. B positive. But it's important to be honest. I'm joking with you, but it's important to be honest. I am actually also partially sighted. I can only see out these two tiny little holes here and here. Learning to live with it, it's not too bad. And it's weird, isn't it, when you think about it? That's it. That's what you got to fucking live your life with. That's it. You got to dodge cars, look for people, book holidays, watch TV. That's it. Everything goes through those two tiny little... If you had two little specks here and here, and that was all you could see through, you go, fuck, that is pathetic. That is... Do you know what I mean? That's... When you get your friends, they go, "Oh, where are you going?" "Oh, we're going on holiday." "Really, where are you going?" "Oh, we're going off to the Grand Canyon, one of nature's massive and magnificent beauties." You know, well, you might as well stay at home, really, aren't you? Because you're wasting time, aren't you? It's all got to go through these two tiny little fucking holes. Chuck some sand in the sink and stare at that for a couple of hours. Like I say, I analyse things too much. And, all I'm saying is, you know, we're all partially sighted. If you were fully sighted, you know, if you could see out of every fucking bit of yourself, you'd be like, "Whoa, this is too much, it's too much." Probably be a bit more careful when you're wiping your ass as well. So that's sharing. That's what I've learned. It's important to be honest. For example, I'm an ex-boxer. You see that look? Do you see that look? That was very quick. And if you watch that TV show, Lie to Me, and you have to trust and believe me, and that way we bond, and you've kind of ruined that. It's actually the truth. I am an ex-boxer. A lot of my friends prefer the PlayStation, but to me, the Xbox is the only console that really delivers the graphics, resolution, frame rate that I'm looking for in a gaming console. It's because it's PC based, it's got advanced Z buffering. So what else can I tell you about myself? I used to work in computers. Obviously not in computers, far too big for that. Those days have gone. Damn microchips. No, I used to work with computers for a large insurance company in Belgium. I know what you're thinking, computers, insurance, Belgium. Actually wasn't that exciting. And I left that job shortly after they asked me to leave. Now I'm going to give you some advice. I like to leave people with solutions, not just problems, but solutions. If you're having a job and they ask you to leave, don't tell your next employer that you asked to leave your previous job. It doesn't reflect very well. You might even get the job you're applying for. Make something up. Don't lie. Just make... So I said, no, I left because of the long hours. Some of them were 70, 80 minutes long. It's ridiculous. Now, I left because they kept asking me pointless, time-wasting questions. This is one of my pet hates in life, is pointless, time-wasting questions. Do you like pointless, time-wasting questions? You find them pointless and time-wasting? Exactly, me too, yeah. I mean, in a sense, that was a pointless, time-wasting question. But you know the kind of questions I mean. You know when you're watching TV and there's a knock at the door and someone goes, who's that at the door? Do you ever think it's just too early to tell at this stage? That's why we've got a door. Pointless, time-wasting questions. You know when you're watching TV and the phone rings, within 2 rings maximum, ring, 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 ring. Who could that be? Who could that be? Well, that could be any fucker with a phone, couldn't it, really? 15 phone shops on every high street. That could be any one of 7,000 million different people apart from you or me, unless you're fucking around with your mobile underneath the sofa. Last time that happened, my friend answered the phone. It turned out it was me fucking around with my mobile underneath the sofa. So I'm in this job in computing. They kept asking me pointless, time-wasting questions. I'd be sitting there typing away at the computer and the boss would come and go, Matt, can you touch type? So I said, why? Do you know another way of getting the fucking keys to me? It's a bit like that. You know when people ask you if you can change your tenor? Can you change your tenor? Do you ever go, no, I don't think so. But you've got to try, haven't you? You've got to try, that's the main thing. And around about October, November, you get these appraisal meetings because you want to try and get your pay rise or your promotion. I'm in the office with this boss and he's sitting there and he goes, so tell me, Matt, what exactly do you see yourself doing this time next year? So I said, I've no idea. I haven't got any special powers like that. And if I did have, I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now, would I? So I'd have seen it coming about a year ago and fucking topped myself at some point. So we just, had some fundamental misunderstandings. They kept saying I was late for meetings, I was missing meetings, you weren't at that meeting, you missed that, you turned on. And I kept saying, well, time doesn't really exist. It's a bit of a metaphysical quandary. And they'd say, well, what about the meeting yesterday? 3 o'clock, room 217, you weren't there. And I said, yesterday, 3 o'clock, room 217. I think you'll find that I was actually at that meeting. Admittedly, I was a little bit too far away to really see and hear what was going on. But if you check the memo, it says nothing about distance. And if I'm correct, room 217, there's actually a slight gap underneath the door, so it's not even clear where that room ends. Some of my longest conversations have actually been at bus stops. When people come up to you at a bus stop and say, excuse me, mate, what time do you make it? Go, well, it's not really up to me. You want to know the time I make it? I make it about 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon. Constantly. Yeah, welcome to join me. Very few people ever take the risk. Every now and again you meet people at bus stops who are even too deep for me, just too fucking deep for me. I was at a bus the other day, this guy comes up, excuse me, he goes, do you know when the last bus is? I went, the last bus? So I left that job. I turned up a few hours late and the boss said, perhaps you can explain exactly why you're late. And I said, well, basically I've turned up after the time I was meant to. So think you're the boss. So I left that job. I haven't got a job now apart from this job. I haven't got a girlfriend either. At the end of this show, I've got to go home to a lonely bed. I know what you're thinking. Buy another bed. My last girlfriend, beautiful girl, beautiful hourglass figure, very big ears. She was a trophy girlfriend, really. And our relationship fell apart because I'm like most of the men here tonight. If I'm basically, truth has to be told, we are basically, when it comes to relationships, just too honest. I remember once as we finished making love, as she was loosening the straps, I got off the radiator, took the stuffed toy from her mouth, and casually kicked off the roller skates. And she said, Matt, be honest, when we make love, do you...
Yeah, Mr. Matt, welcome. Yeah. I give credit to those people for waiting till there was a little break to go to the toilet. What a fantastic crowd you get at the Comedy Store, yeah? Other clubs, people wandering about aimlessly all over the place during the show, but not here. It's like, oh, that's the quick interval. I'll just go to the toilet. That's fantastic. It is good, as I said to Bear. And as I said, I did mention...
One. Is that one? That was an excellent thing to shout out. One. One. That's confidence. Yeah, one. I fucking know. Heather's son's in. How many people here don't like Heather Mills McCartney? Hundreds. Bigger. And that's funny, isn't it? How many people here have actually met Heather Mills McCartney? You see, none. And yet we judged her. Only one person was brave enough to say that he liked her. And yet the rest of us, we fucking judged her without even meeting her. And perhaps that's wrong, ladies and gentlemen, with the Comedy Store. Perhaps that's wrong that we judge people without even meeting them. She'd be a very nice person. Having said that, I realised the other day I couldn't bear to be in the same room as Heather Mills McCartney for more than 2 minutes without literally puking up my guts and leaving that room screaming. And that's not because I'm shallow. That's not because I'm like you people. No, I didn't make an assessment of her based on what I've seen on TV. That's based purely on my allergies. Well, no, because she lost her foot in that accident a few years ago, and I'm lactose intolerant. You'll never quite hear the same reaction to a joke as long as you live in any comedy club. It's not sure whether that's a good joke or a bad joke, but it's one you're going to text your mates during the interval, so you can go fuck yourselves. I've been Matt, welcome. You've got a great show ahead of you. You're going to enjoy it because you're a great crowd and you deserve it. Thanks a lot. See you around. Thank you. Guys.